From that angle,
hey,
that looks like it's a lateral.
It's a lateral.
That is amazing.
Because he's in front of the line, and look at this.
That's what I'm saying. You have to see where he throws the ball
right.
from. You can't look at the body.
What is up, everyone? We are back again here at the Forward Lateral and recording a little later than we usually do, usually being only 2 episodes down. Here's our third. But we just finished up watching the amazing game that was the Packers and the Lions. How are you feeling about that, Riley?
Totally. Yeah, it was impeccable. It was a real corker. Yeah,
really.
It was great. It was great. I loved it.
True nail biter. Just like all the primetime games we've had this year.
My God, it's just all so bad. I hated everything. I hate everything about it.
You know, there's that one commercial that's saying like they made the schedule with AI. If that's true, it shows.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense if they just like plug the shit into like Chat GPT and called it a day.
Yeah, because this schedule is, just terrible. Like we've got primetime. We had Giants and 49ers. Like that was going to be a good game. We had Raiders and Steelers. Even, some of these games are kind of excusable, right? Like even Giants, 49ers.
A couple of them.
Yeah, maybe the Giants were going to be good this year, but like Raiders, Steelers, who the hell wanted that?
Yeah, this was fucking sucks last year. This is terrible.
No one thought the Packers were going to be good this year. Maybe the Packers could turn out to be all right.
Only people who were born in like the 40s thought Raiders and Steelers would be like a good matchup. Those are just like the Super Bowls.
Yeah, seriously. This was if you're an NFL historian, maybe that was a historic matchup you were waiting for. But if you're someone with a grip,
anybody who watched that game knows it definitely wasn't historic.
Yeah,
maybe it was historic in the interception totals that Jimmy Garoppolo threw, but whatever.
Yeah,
I don't make the schedule. If we made the schedule, shit would be a lot different. But there's too much like math that goes into making a schedule.
If we made the schedule, there would be only games between the Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals just cycling every week. They'd play each other like 16 times. But no, that's the other Eagles, end of the extreme.
Then the Eagles get to play every single NFC team, and then the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, if I were making the Eagles schedule, I would have them play the Arizona Cardinals 15 times and then the Dallas Cowboys twice. Because I like the Eagles Cowboys games, but I also like winning. So thus the Cardinals games. Watch, I totally just jinxed it. We're gonna get fucking annihilated by the Cardinals when we play them later.
Oh yeah. No, it's over for you.
Yeah, it's over for me. But seriously, we'll get into our major topics, but I think anyone who has been watching NFL just looking for a good game has been let down with what's been on primetime this year.
Fuck yeah. What was Monday Night Football? It was Rams and Bengals. Shitty game. It was Eagles and Bucks. Admittedly, shitty game. Monday Night Football was also terrible. Raiders and stuff. The TNF was shit with Giants. And then this TNF was shit. God.
Yeah. And look, I've got to take the L. I thought that Bengals Rams game was going to be a lot of fun, but we had a field goal factory for a while, and that was not excellent. Look, I like good defense, right? And there can be a game that's a lot of fun because it's a defensive matchup, but not the way we saw it not the way we saw it on that Monday night game between those two. That just wasn't the most fun.
No.
But we've got some major topics to cover today. Joe Burrow. What's going on with the man? The Miami Dolphins put up 70, an insane number. The United States was at war in Vietnam the last time we saw anything like that. And then also the Dallas Cowboys Oh man, that's going to be a fun segment for me, but we will get all around to that. But first, we've got some quick hitters to go over. Just some of the more minor storylines, or maybe they're major storylines if they're your team, but some stuff we're just going to go over and give our quick thoughts on. And I'll open that up by asking you what you think about the 0-3 Minnesota Vikings.
I have never seen I have rarely seen a better 0-3 team on paper. Kirk Cousins is currently leading the NFL in passing touchdowns and passing yards. Justin Jefferson obviously leading the NFL in receiving yards, like he usually does. But good grief, fucking a lot of really dumb plays by the Vikings have somehow cost them 3 entire games. And you know, I have not seen that happen in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be really frustrating if you're a Vikings fan, especially, I mean, at this point, especially after the Thursday night game, where it looks like the Packers are really not that much of a threat to win the division as it stands now. Of course, it's early in the season. Anything can happen. Stuff changes. The unexpected is to be expected. But as it looks right now, it looks like the Lions really are your competition. And I think a lot of Vikings fans headed into this season thinking that was going to be a real battle or that they were going to be favored. And 0-3 is just a hole to dig yourself out of. But what do you think?
Yeah,
really...
I know.
So
at least they're not as bad as the Bears.
Yeah, at least they don't have to worry about a threat from Chicago. But I was going to ask, what do you really think is the main culprit for this rough start for the Vikings?
Well, honestly, as I said earlier, I do think it's just the fact that the main thing that I could say is like lack of defensive support. And that is obviously the case. They gave up like 400 something passing yards against Justin Herbert, gave up in a pretty great game for the Eagles run game, which was, the DeAndre Swift show. I completely forgot who they played week 1, but whoever they played week 1,
that was the Eagles. Oh wait, sorry, not the Eagles. That was week 2. They played the Buccaneers. They played the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers, yes. They let Baker look like prime Carson Palmer. So not Brady. I wouldn't say that yet. Not quite.
He had that Baker had that.
Yeah. Brady's never been as electric as Baker.
Exactly. Look, we've never had the thrilling football from Tom Brady as we've had from Baker, and that's mostly because we know Tom Brady is good. The part of the thrill from Baker is what Baker are we gonna get?
What Baker are we getting today, folks? Well, the Vikings turned a possible bad Baker into very good Baker, so.
Exactly.
It's just this defense being very, very questionable, I would say.
Yeah, I think the defense
really... But also they make a lot of stupid plays. The thing, they make a lot of really dumb plays. They make a lot of really dumb calls. It's just
there's a lot of careless football going on over there. I mean, there's some turnovers.
Yeah, like I heard somebody say
unforced errors.
I heard somebody say it like Vikings play unserious football, and that's pretty obvious seeing some of these things.
All right. Well, moving on from the Vikings, and we didn't even talk much about the Chargers element, probably because I think a Chargers segment is coming up in the near future. There's going to be some real things to say after last week. You declared that Staley should be made walk home.
Walk home candidate of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Walk home with no water candidate of the year. I don't think he did much to change your perspective on that. But looking a little bit more positively, the CJ Stroud show.
Oh, yeah. Lovely stuff. CJ Stroud really is I would say a very good QB. And even knowing the limited sample size we have with that, I think that CJ Stroud's just been looking so poised with every game he's been playing. I do think that it's really every game puts him farther ahead of his peers. I'd say that's the most impressive part.
Yeah, I mean, poise is the word, right? With CJ Stroud, it's not that he's got these electric highlights and all. That's not, he doesn't have bad plays. Everyone has highlights. Every touchdown is a highlight, in my opinion. But it's not that he's running out there and doing the unthinkable. He's just so comfortable, and he just looks so mature for a rookie. We've only seen
looks like he's been doing
3 weeks out of. Tank Dell, a lot of good things over there, man.
For sure.
People were worried about Tank Dell at a point, that he wasn't putting up the numbers, but he just bombed on that Jags secondary. And that's the question that we really have, which is, are the Jags all right? Do the Jags need to worry about their position that they probably thought was a lock in that division?
I don't really know. I actually also do think it's pretty funny that the Colts are currently winning that division, but
wouldn't have saw that coming.
The Jags were in a similar position last year, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Like, Doug Peterson was a shit hire. Trevor might be a bust. All that jazz, all that rookie talk. But I think that it'll take a lot for the Jags to really fuck this all up even worse. So I do think that it'll be okay. I don't think there's that much to worry about in the Jags camp.
Yeah, I think the game we saw the Jags play against the Chiefs showed in particular that, like, what we've seen the Chiefs play a bad team. Granted, the Bears are an awful team. And we've also seen the Chiefs play a good team in the Lions, and they lost. But like, the Jaguars weren't getting annihilated by the Chiefs, right? And the Chiefs are like one of those 3-4 teams that, like, we think are Super Bowl favorites. So I don't think there's anything that I've seen that's telling me that, like, the Jags should be in panic mode. From what I saw of the film from the Texans Jaguars game, it really looked like the Jaguars were just sloppy, and it looked like they had a divisional rival that knew their game better than other teams. So that was my main takeaway from that. But we will continue to watch CJ Stroud grow. And this looks exciting. It looks like they made out pretty well with their Will Anderson and CJ Stroud picks as it stands right now.
I'm very surprised. Yeah, I'm very surprised. I could not have guessed that the QB that would be looking this good this far in from that draft class would be CJ Stroud. I thought he would be having his growing pains, but kudos to the Texans for really doing what they can to try to get him the right play calls, get him the right people around him, and they have a good QB. They seem to know what they're doing with CJ Stroud, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, CJ Stroud during the draft, obviously he was drafted very highly. It wasn't like no one was talking about him, like he was an unknown thing. But most of the hype went to the guys, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young. A lot of talk about Will Levis. Oh, how good is this guy? What can he do? Which we still don't really know yet. Apparently, the words from training camp are he didn't look good, but you don't know until you see him in an NFL game.
Well, the words from training camp and preseason were that he didn't look very good.
But speaking of Will Levis, that's on to our next quick hitter. When does Tannehill's season end?
Right now. Right the fuck now. Tannehill, he just needs to give it up, man. It's over. It's over. Like, it's over. Like, he has to realize that he's never going to play at the level that he once did again. And it's not entirely his fault. It's partly not saying Tannehill has ever, like, played at like an elite level. He's gotten close, but I will say this: it's not like the Titans are doing him any favors. To be fair, because the Titans' O line is dog shit, and they've yet to get anything going this season with Derrick Henry. Um, if any of you remember the rumors in the offseason about him becoming an Eagle.
Yeah, that was a wild week or two there when, when people, myself included, thought maybe there was going to be a trigger pulled on Derrick Henry to the Eagles, which I honestly didn't know how to feel about. But
Yeah,
well, of course I would have been hype as shit if it happened. But look, it doesn't matter what Tannehill thinks of his own performance. Obviously, he's going to be his own best advocate. What really matters is what the Titans think. And look, they headed into this season not believing that it was going to be a throwaway season, right? Like they've got DeAndre
not
Hopkins,
entirely. No. Yeah,
they're
exactly.
trying. They were trying. They didn't want to throw in the towel. They didn't want to pull an Arizona Cardinals, which again, I think, we went over this a little bit last time, is maybe not the worst decision to not go full
Yeah,
tank mode. But at this point in the season, when you're getting annihilated by the Browns, who we've seen is a team that is is maybe not elite. When you're only
yeah,
able to put up 3 points against the
possibly.
Browns, I think it's time to start working out the young guys. Like let this Malik Willis,
Yeah,
Will Levis battle happen. I think you stand to gain a lot more by seeing what they can do than seeing if you can salvage a couple wins from Ryan Tannehill. Because even if you make the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill, you're gonna get fucking obliterated. Like once you have to play a real team. And the Titans
yeah, exactly.
are not a real team right now. They're
They're
not.
they're not a real team.
Yeah, they're not someone that anyone is worried about seeing in their schedule. But staying in the same division, the Colts Ravens game ended on a pretty controversial call, and what I mean by controversial is bad. It was a terrible call. Our guy Zay Flowers, he he had just had a terrible no call against him. He was going out for a route on fourth down that would have put them into field goal range. Was tackled effectively before the ball hit his hands. No call on it. The Colts were able to get it back, drive down, get a field goal, and that really cost them the game. But the thing is, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, can you even feel good about being in a situation where you're that close with the Colts? What do you think?
Um, I do think that there were quite a few offensive woes, but I kind of think that this kind of boils down to who wanted it more. And I think in that game, the Colts, especially defensively, the Colts definitely wanted it more. Um, that there were moments where the Ravens looked like regular Ravens, but they just were off kilter the whole game. And I don't I'm not going to entirely blame them for that, like all the way. Like I do understand like having off games. It's not the end of the world to be in a close game with the Colts. I feel like we know that by now. The Colts had a very good game against the Texans. So I think that there's a lot to be said about the Colts not being as bad as as bad as we suspect. Of course, if you're the Ravens, you came in the Super Bowl hopes, so you know, could be completely different from a Ravens fan perspective. But from my humble perspective, I don't think it's like as like dire.
Look, being a Ravens fan, it's like being edged and just never coming to completion. Like they always
Yeah, that's
seem like
true.
they're
That's
right
true.
there, and then they're injured or something bad happens, or the play that
More,
we will
yeah,
not speak about from last playoffs. I am not a Ravens diehard fan, but they have always been kind of my second favorite team behind the Eagles. There's a big gap between how much I like the Ravens and how much I like the Eagles. But I'm a Ravens. I'll say I'm a strong Ravens supporter. We'll put it that way. And man, there's
yeah,
just always this feeling of like good team that just can't get over the hump in the Lamar Jackson era we've seen. And it looks like, unfortunately, you may be in for another season of that in Baltimore. So
Yeah.
Wishing the
yeah.
best for the Ravens. I would definitely not like to see the Browns win that division. That would be horrible.
Or the Steelers.
I don't want to see any of those teams win, but that's bias. However, staying in the AFC, but a different division, Zach Wilson's season is over.
It's yeah, it is 100% over. There's just no, I mean, this is less about the season because it's obvious. If you ask any Jets fan, they know that there's no salvaging this season. But there's a conversation to be had over whether or not there's any salvaging Zach Wilson at this rate. And I just think there's a pot. Like I'm not a Debbie Downer. I understand how much of a project the guy is, but this is what, year 3 for him. And honestly, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's looked worse every year that he's played. And
simply put,
he's looked worse every year that he's played. And they finally got some support, and it's just been bad. So with that in mind, like, you know, I think that you have to, like, I mean, obviously they had Aaron Rodgers in there to not only win games for them, but to mentor Zach Wilson at quarterback. And now that he's like out, you wonder how botched that mentoring process is going to become. If you ask me, probably quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's just it's such a disaster quarterback wise in New York, and I have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I don't prey on anyone's downfall. Obviously, we just had the week 1 episode. I was saying that I think they should go with Zach Wilson as long as they can, unless he looked absolutely abhorrent. And
he's looked absolutely abhorrent. So
he's looked absolutely abhorrent. I mean, they can't. He is an active detriment to their ability to win games. The offense can't click. He's so bad at quarterback that they can't effectively run the ball because teams don't have to commit that hard to defend the pass. And they can just kind of bank on the Jets running the ball a lot and defend against that. And if a couple times in the game a guy gets open downfield, it's like, so what? It's just about as bad as it can get with the Zach Wilson situation. And it's gotten so bad that we've seen the reports are players, especially on the defense, are maybe losing faith in Robert Saleh, who I think has been an absolute gentleman, like in terms of how he's been as a guy, in terms of what he's been saying and doing about Zach Wilson.
I mean, he's totally handled the Zach Wilson situation extremely well, I'd say.
But
how to be fair, how can you keep going with this kind of thing,
Exactly. And that's the point I was getting to, which is that, like, your normal instincts to keep a locker room together are you keep, say, everyone's a team. We got to stick through this, get through it together, to bring people, bring that unity.
Yeah.
But when you've got a guy that's just pissing people off, I don't know how he is as a person, but he looks terrible as a football player. Yeah. I don't think that Robert Saleh should get up there and say, everyone point and laugh at Zach Wilson, but I think the players might feel a little bit more secure if he's not throwing all of his confidence into this guy.
Yeah, and like not giving, like, it's not only that, it's the fact that he really hasn't given much indication that he's considering other options, which is the main thing. Like,
and again,
he's
that's
not
really
considering. It's not him saying that he believes in Zach Wilson. It's him kind of just saying, we ride or die with Zach Wilson. And
I think that's how it's being interpreted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And it's the kind of thing, it's like, look, it's not the coach's decision, who's brought in. Obviously, that's the organization, that's the GM, that's all this. He can have a say in it. But I think people are starting to look at it like, here's a guy who's just not being realistic and just losing a little bit of, I guess, relatability. And we're not in the Jets locker room, so we don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know exactly what's being said. But God, Zach Wilson has played so bad to the degree that I think people are starting to think of this as like it's an us versus them situation. You know it's so bad when you're looking at bringing Carson Wentz to revive the locker room.
Yeah,
Which is,
exactly.
holy shit.
It just all boils down to like this is like just like my closing note on it. It just all boils down to the fact that like whenever you see Robert Saleh like openly like supporting Zach Wilson, if you're a defensive player who's like trying your hardest and you're losing these games because of QB play, you start to be like, okay, well, does Robert Saleh like realistically want to win games?
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you're playing your
dilemma.
heart out, like if you're playing your heart out as a defensive player and this Jets defense is still great, I mean, you're just starting to think like you just hate to see things be out of your control, out of your hands. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that's exactly what they have. But it's time to get into the bigger stories. So things we're going to go in on a little bit more in depth. First off, the biggest story of the week that we're going to be talking about for probably 1 or 2 hours, Taylor Swift. No, I'm just fucking kidding. I don't think anyone
yeah. Hey, did you guys know? Did you guys know that Taylor Swift still went to the Chiefs? Did you guys know that?
This has
Did
gone
anybody
so
know that?
far.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Look,
that.
if a celebrity shows up to a game, you put them on the camera for a little bit and go, oh, look at that. It's nice to see them there. You get the little Sports Center post. I understand it's a dating rumor and all that, and it's good for clicks, but holy shit. I mean, this has gotten to the point where it's just like, if you've ever seen the movie Rear Window, it's starting to feel like that. It's starting to feel like NFL media is just like what trying to peer into Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's bedroom window. Like, God, leave it alone.
Be normal, guys. Like legit.
Yeah, this is not why any of us are following Sports Center on Instagram to see Taylor Swift content. And look, yeah, Travis Kelce's gonna bang Taylor Swift. Great.
Yeah, yeah. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are going to have sex.
They're gonna fuck. Great. Now let's get back to football. Holy shit.
Back to football here.
If I can practice what I preach, we will get back to football. We're going to talk about someone that you have been bursting at the seams to talk about the performance of.
Oh man, I have to rag on him. I must. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. This guy is the biggest robber, fucking scammer, everything. Holy shit. The guy is a major scammer. The reason why I feel strongly about this is because
shit.
What?
No, I mean, tell us how you really feel.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I like the reason why I feel so strongly about this is because
you have him in fantasy.
No, it's because this guy played like ass, and my stupid, dumb, fucking idiot football team, the Los Angeles Rams, still lost because we're dumb, idiot, stupid brains, and we can't play football because we're like so stupid. But I don't know.
Come to the forward lateral. We have expert, in-depth analysis.
Exactly. Yeah, we're the face of consistency. Listen, I'm not trying to be Plato or anything. I'm just calling it like I see it. Okay.
For every one statistical analysis that we make, or every one I subscribe to some random city's local paper so I can get the inside scoop. We also have one. They're dumb, stupid, and I fucking hate them.
Exactly. Listen here at the forward lateral. We're anything but woke. Okay, we're no.
We don't use woke stats and game.
That's how people describe stuff, and like people in Instagram comments describe it. Stats are a woke lie. No, listen. Speaking of stats, Joe Burrow has it's the second lowest yards per attempt in the entire National Football League. Folks, that's fucking ridiculous. Okay, like Joseph Lee Burrow having stats that basically guarantee you, like, hey, this guy sucks at football. That's insane. And this is a guy who was going into the season as QB2. People were saying he was QB2. People were saying, I want this guy over Josh Allen.
One A,
I want
one
this.
A and one B. They were saying it was one A and one B.
There were some people saying 1A and 1B. Who were saying, like, oh yeah, Mahomes and Burrow is like the next big like QB duo. It's gonna be like Peyton and Brady. Yeah, people wanted this guy over Josh Allen. People wanted this guy over Jalen Hurts, over Justin Herbert, over Lamar, and here we are. And he fucking sucks. He sucks. Joe Burrow's terrible. We have Russell Wilson currently outplaying him, which is, if you said that a year ago, nobody would really care. They'd be like, oh, okay. But I mean, in context this year,
no,
if you
said that. If you said Joe
2 years
Burrow
ago,
was
2 years
being
ago, 2 years
okay,
ago.
I was gonna say last year that would have been a nuclear missile.
Yeah, but legitimately, it's crazy. And I'm saying it out of a place of me, knowing how insane it is and knowing the shit that's happening. Because I understand he's dealing with a nagging injury, and that is obviously bad, and that obviously will affect one's ability to play football. I understand that. However, at the same time, maybe you probably just should have sat him out a little bit. You had such an urge to beat the fucking Los Angeles Rams, that was the big thing for you.
Probably they were going to be 0-3. Didn't win.
Well, okay, sorry, you couldn't give us a little slack here, but okay, I see how it is.
What are you talking about?
I knew you were a fake juggalo anyway, Roman. I knew it.
But look, I'm a certified Joe Burrow hater, let me tell you. But I'm actually not. But I'll give you my take.
Tell me about it.
Joe Burrow's first 3 weeks have been abysmal. They've just been as crap as you can get from a guy who just signed this massive extension. Is like you said, he's a robber baron. He is fleecing the organization. He's totally fleecing. He's stealing money from a charitable organization. He is Brett Favre.
Funds. Okay, I don't know about charitable.
No, I would not call it.
I don't think the Bengals are not, in particular, are not exactly charitable.
When I said charitable organization, I just meant because that would be a bad thing to do, not because the Bengals are a charitable.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, but beside the point. Yes, he's been very bad from that perspective, and I do take some pleasure in it because, as an Eagles fan, I've been the dickhead running around telling everyone that Jalen Hurts is better than Joe Burrow, so it's fun from that perspective. But I don't think that we're going to continue to see this level of poor play from Joe Burrow. It just it doesn't make logical sense that at his healthiest, that he would continue to play like this. I mean, we're seeing mostly the same core from last year. He still got the wide receiver help. And all the pieces are still in play, right? He's looked really bad, but we've had drives where the same guy was there. And I don't think I don't think that there's been any real reason or any real indicator.
Okay. Point counterpoint here. We're doing. Let me just interject real quick. You said we've seen drives where he looks like regular Joe Burrow. That is true. However, having watched 2 out of the 3 games that Joe Burrow played in,
I've also
knowing how bad his first game was, I can say that he has had 2. He's had 2 drives where he looks like normal Joe Burrow. Other than that, it's just been incompletions and failed checkdowns and all this and that and stuff. I think that we can't.
I'll give you this much.
Yeah.
I'll give you this much. Maybe I was being overzealous on saying there's no reason to believe he won't go back to regular Joe Burrow. Because I'll be honest, this is the most shit I've ever seen him look over a period of multiple weeks. Even rookie Joe Burrow didn't seem this bad. So it's definitely something to be a little bit worried about. Maybe we won't see that, like, you know, MVP caliber kind of player performance out of Joe Burrow. There's a possibility that we won't see that maybe for a while this season, or maybe not at all. There's a possibility, but
Yeah.
Joe Burrow has played enough good football. We can talk about him being overrated in the playoffs and this and that, but Joe Burrow has played enough meaningful football and he has good enough playmakers around him that I think the possibility of Joe Burrow being like a bad quarterback by even mid-season, I just think is very low. I just don't think that he's going to keep up this kind of
I
performance.
do agree with that. I do agree with that. However, I will say that it's been a long time since we've seen a QB so regaled going into the season, like, falter this badly. And I'm not saying I'm preying on that or anything. I'm not saying I love this, but
Well, it'd be kind of funny because Joe Burrow's fans are really fucking annoying. I'm
that's true.
sorry to say it like it is, but I mean, holy shit, this guy has become like the Fortnite kid favorite. Like every time you might hear Joe Burrow or Joe Shiesty, like it has just been so milked and done to death. Like
Joe
to be
Shitty.
honest, yeah, Joe Shitty. To see Joe Burrow have a few bad games is kind of fun from that perspective.
It's a little rewarding.
It's a little rewarding, but overall, it's become a bit of a tagline for me at this point. If any of our 25 listeners have paid attention, but yeah, I don't think it's Bengals panic mode time.
Yeah.
They won ugly, but they are not 0-3. I do think that they have enough of the team that they were to get right back there.
You did not. That's true. I you did not lie. I do think that they do have, like, I don't know. I'd say just like their defense played lights out. The thing that is holding them back as it stands is right now Joe Burrow, and I just can't ignore that.
Yeah, but if we're talking about the Bengals as a whole, isn't that sort of like more encouraging in a way that like the thing that's holding you back is just one player? Granted, it's your quarterback,
I suppose so, yeah.
But it's like a guy you've seen be good before, right? It's not like all of a sudden their defense is bad or they lost a couple major players in free agency and the people they got to replace them just aren't good enough. Like it's basically just one of our best guys is not playing up to his caliber. Now, granted, having a quarterback be the problem is scary for
suboptimal for sure.
It's very, very much somewhere you don't want to be, especially when that guy is so highly paid. But
exactly,
again,
he's the highest paid NFL player ever.
Yeah, he is. That is the stat. But again, I don't. If we enter week 6 and we've seen another putrid Joe Burrow performance, or we've seen just more suboptimal play, or just not, playing to his standards, then it becomes time to start asking questions. But honestly, I don't even think Joe Burrow is at risk of being like benched if he continues to play bad, just because of how good we know he can be.
Yeah, they're just hoping it'll get back to whatever's happening, or get out of whatever funk.
Yeah. And it's just not worth it for the Bengals to do anything that would throw his game off. Like you'd rather just let this guy play through the funk and hopefully get back to where he can, because you have put all of your marbles on him being your quarterback of the future.
That is true. Yeah, and not just the future, like just being. They've put a lot of they put a lot of material and resource into him being like their greatest quarterback ever, really. Like,
Well, he could be the Bengals' greatest quarterback ever, but
yeah.
they certainly have paid him like he's the greatest quarterback ever. But if we're going to talk about Evers, we're going to talk about historic. We've got to talk about something that hasn't happened since 1966. A 70 bomb. Good
Oh
Lord.
yeah. The one and only Denver Broncos. Let's go. No, I'm kidding. They were on the opposite side of it. But yeah, this was just like one of the worst coach games I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Like
Oh my
some
God.
of the worst coaching I've ever seen in my fucking life.
This is a Sean Payton hater's paradise. That chipmunk-faced asshole got his shit pushed in. It was fucking awesome. Like if you
It was pretty awesome.
If you are still mad about Bountygate, if you just generally think Sean Payton's an asshole, if you hate the Saints, and shit, if you hate the Broncos, which I don't know why you would hate the Broncos at this point.
They're kind of like a hard. It's like pushing the disabled kid out of his wheelchair. Like hitting on the fucking Broncos is like it's like taking money from a homeless person.
Yeah, it's but Sean Payton is worth hating.
Sean
especially
Payton's definitely worth hating. His stupid bullshit retirement they used just to fuck up the Saints. Come on, man.
That was bullshit.
Be cool, dude.
He was given what I thought was the ultimate punishment. I didn't think he could be punished any worse than having Kevin James portray him in a movie. But alas, Sean Payton's
this is his that was his punishment. This is his penance.
That was only the first circle of hell for Sean Payton or layer. I don't know. I've never actually read Dante, but that was only phase one of Sean Payton's drag through the underworld. Now he had the nerdiest looking coach in football history. Former Denver Broncos ball boy. And Vic Fangio absolutely ruined it.
And Vic Fangio.
Yeah. Vic Fangio. But we'll get into like the specifics of this game.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was just next stuff. I can't.
But first off, I mean, 70. Did you think like I know people are saying, oh, it's a passing league, it's all offensive oriented, but I really did not see a 70-point game as something that I thought was I won't say didn't think it was a possibility, but
basically
it's
like
very
on the tails of their running backs, really.
Yeah, on the tails of the running backs. I think the passing game really opened that up. We'll get into that a little bit more. But what do we think there's any in terms of looking at the league as a whole, do we think there's anything we can sort of draw from this from, just something like this happening, something like 70 points being scored by a modern day offense? Or is this just going to go down as one of those YouTube top 10, wow, that was crazy, I can't believe that happened moments?
Well, I will say this. I don't think there's a lot we can get in the broader sense of things, but I will say that this loss or this game, this 1,000%, 100,000% says way more about the Broncos than it does the Dolphins. And I don't think that's a hot take, although if you asked a lot of sports media, then they'd probably say, like, are you kidding me? Tua's like the MVP, dude. But I'm gonna push back a little bit.
I think it speaks equally. And I guess now is a good time to start breaking down what we actually saw in the game. The one thing is Tua has just really improved his game.
He has. And I will say that. I will concede with that. However, I do think that it's weird to like I don't know. I don't know if anybody sees it the way that I do, but the way the media is treating this like this Tua redemption, they're treating it like he's doing something that we haven't seen before, which we have. Josh Allen did this like twice in 2020. Like this is not like he's not putting up like historic numbers. He's really not even he's not even leading the league in passing yards or passing touchdowns. That honor goes to Kirk Cousins at the moment. But I mean, I guess the 70 bomb really changed a lot of people's perception on Tua as a quarterback. I guess I don't know I don't know. I don't know what it really gave me toward Tua. I have no idea.
This is what it gave me from Tua. What it gave me from Tua, it speaks to both Tua and Mike McDaniel. So
yeah,
Tua, I think his problem last year when we saw him having problems was that, simply put, I just don't think he had eased in enough to Mike McDaniel's system and Mike McDaniel's vision. Now, when we talk about what that vision and what that system is, we're looking at an offense that is ultimately, kind of simple, actually, in what they do. Mike McDaniel spammed like the same play over and over again during this this game, the same passing plays with that that route that hit the middle of the field. But the thing that Mike needs Tua to do is to get that ball out quickly and accurately. And to if the second he sees that Tyreek or Jalen Waddle, who didn't even play in this game, or even Robbie Chosen, if he sees that, get that ball out immediately and don't underthrow it.
Yeah.
We did not see Tua having that problem, and we haven't seen
He
Tua
didn't do that. He
problem.
did not do those things. He did not.
He is getting the ball out so quickly compared to what we've seen him do before. And let me just say, we can talk about, how good are the Dolphins? Well, we haven't seen them play, real competition. We haven't seen their defense go up against, anyone like the Bills, which, we will see coming up.
Which we're
about to see. But in terms of what I think this Mike McDaniel machine on offense can produce, this was very convincing to me. This was highly convincing to me. We saw,
but with that, there starts to be a little bit of like, there starts to be a little bit of like a Brock, right?
Starts to be a little bit of a what?
You have to admit that they're a little bit of a Brock Purdy effect, right? So where you can see what he's doing well, but you also have to concede in lending a lot of that to the system. And that says a lot about the Dolphins being able to cultivate such a system. I will say that. But I don't know. I hate to sound like a hater because it's really like weird to hate on like Tua, but Tua doesn't move me as much as he doesn't move me as much as he moves like a lot of other people, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. To me, the Tua narrative isn't as relevant. Like, I think the most relevant thing to talk about the Dolphins
very true.
is
the fact that they could do that.
Yeah, is the fact that they could do that. It's Tyreek Hill and it's Mike McDaniel. Now, what we can draw from this is that Tyreek Hill is just such a problem. He obviously wasn't, when you look at the stat sheet, right, you're going to see Devon Chain, I think that's how you say his name. I got a lot of people are going to have to learn how to pronounce that one correctly because it looks like he could be a real problem. You're going to look at all those yards he had, all those touchdowns Mostert had, but the real threat is that, like, you played on a defensive secondary. What the hell do you do about Tyreek Hill? Like, it's so difficult to know what to do with this guy. And once you have that threat of like, you can't let Tua hold on to the ball for like even 2-3 seconds, or you might just be looking at a 50-yard bomb to an open Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
It opens up the door for RPOs. We've shown there's so many ways they can get the ball into a running back's hands. Obviously, there was that ridiculous no-look pass, but they are just so dangerous. And they can open. Mike McDaniel has been an expert at being able to use his passing threats to open up options for his running backs. And one more thing I'm going to say I know I'm kind of rambling here a little, but one more thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's not being talked about enough. The Dolphins O-line this year has been ridiculous. They've let up only 1 sack. And if they're not going to be able to continue to play that well, but if this group that was kind of questioned heading into this season continues to play at a fraction of how good they're playing, this is like maybe the most dangerous offense in football.
Well, I will not argue right now that they literally just dropped 70 points. I don't think anybody with a good conscience can say that they're not the most dangerous offense in football. I think everybody is as rightfully probably afraid of what they may be able to do. I do think that there are defensive questions, but I do understand the school of thought of like, let's just put up so many points that we can't really just don't give a shit what our defense does. I like that. That works for me. I'd say I could deal with that. But yeah. I just, the Dolphins are a really good team. We all see it. We all know it. But fucking like, I don't know. Let this all come. Let's all come with the caveat of me being like a pretty like solid Dolphins hater for like a while.
Why?
I don't know. I just never liked them. I don't like Miami. I think it's just that I don't like Miami. I think it came from a place of like, fuck Miami.
Did you have a bad experience in Miami? Do you have an ex who lives in Miami, Riley?
I've never been to Miami, but it seems Florida is a shitty state, and everything that I've heard about Miami makes me feel like it's the shittiest out of the whole shitty state. So
yeah.
Forgive me here.
If you're coming at it from a purely hater angle, that's respectable.
From Miami, yes, it is hatership.
Yeah, and I get it, but I've got just a couple more things to say about the Dolphins. One player who I'd like to give a little bit of attention to is Isaiah Wynn. Mike McDaniel.
I don't know what he's doing something. Yeah,
we've never seen him play as well.
Crazy.
McDaniel made the decision to move him to left guard, more similar to what we saw him do in college. And that has paid dividends. Again, I'm just thinking, Mike McDaniel looks like coach of the year right now. I just keep saying his name. Maybe I just really liked that syndrome meme I saw when they showed the footage of him as the
maybe that was just really funny.
Yeah, they saw if you haven't seen the meme, it's him as the Denver Broncos ball boy. Saying that his dream is to play for the Broncos and he won't be satisfied if not. And then they put the and what did you say to me? I work alone. Go home, buddy. Right. But they do. The meme goes the whole score of the game, right? Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But speaking of coaching, though, I don't want to overshadow how good of a hire I think Vic Fangio was. And that's just such a funny pairing, Vic Fangio and Mike McDaniel. They just look funny standing next to each other. You've got this old.
They do look a little funny. You got this like crotchety old guy, and then like this dorky, dweeby
right.
new wave coach. I like to call him.
Exactly. And if you ever talk to like NFL like film analysis analysts or anything, like Vic Fangio is talked about so much when you talk about anything that is done in NFL defenses these days. He's definitely kind of at this point like the old guard guy. And Mike McDaniel is considered to be so much of this like new school. So seeing the two of them together is really a pairing.
It is quite a funny juxtaposition. But I do think that not to get too philosophical with it, but that could be like a reason why the Dolphins are like kind of working right now, is they have both those schools of thought in that room.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think this defense is, again, their biggest addition on defense this year is Jalen Ramsey. He'll come back around midseason, I think. I don't know the exact week he's projected.
Yeah,
I think that defense only going to get better. But we've got to see the Dolphins play against some real competition. I think Dolphins Bills, is that their matchup next week?
Yeah, it is. It is Bills. They are playing Buffalo.
I guess that'll be, by the time this is out, that'll be like tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that, that's a game I'm very excited for. That will be really telling. But Yeah, the Dolphins are just it's an exciting time to be a Miami Dolphins fan.
But
Now,
with this all being said, let us not forget about the game against the Patriots and how that was a kind of a messy game, not only for Tua, but for the Dolphins as a whole, as a unit.
yeah, I think that was definitely a messy game. And we've seen the Patriots defense is fantastic. For a team
It
that
is.
has the record they do, it doesn't really tell the full story. Tony Romo said that, so people kind of flamed him for it, and then other people kind of came in and said they're like, well, he's kind of right.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins, they can have sloppy performances, but here's the thing: in a game where Bill Belichick did an amazing job planning against Tyreek Hill, better than we've really seen any coach do, or just as good as we've seen any coach do.
True.
The Dolphins still pulled it all together, and they were able to do that against a substantially better defense than Sean
way
Payton's
better.
shitty Denver Broncos defense. They played
Some of the
comic
worst
relief
defense in the world.
football.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
great would it be? How great would it be if Sean Payton got fired after one season, especially after what he said about their old coaching?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Or even better yet, if he got fired before the season ended.
Oh my God. I'm coming. I'm creaming my jeans as we speak.
I'm salivating at the thought.
Salivating at the thought of Sean Payton. That's everything. It's like, I don't care about hating on Sean Payton. That guy is like retirement age. Like, he's got money. He's set. He'll be fine. He can go away, and his quality of his life.
It's just the Broncos shitting the bed again.
I do feel bad for Denver Broncos fans.
I feel bad for their fans. I don't feel bad for their organization.
No, I don't feel bad for those guys. I do feel bad for their fans, but hey, they got the Denver Nuggets. But
yeah, at least they got the Nuggets, man.
We've got something else to talk about, but first I want to talk about something a little not football related. I've been smoking this new thing. I've been really enjoying it. It's they just legalized it in the state of Arizona. It hits really hard. It's that Cowboys pack. Oh, get fucked, Dallas.
Oh, bang! Oh, you got him. You fucking showed him that. You know what? I gotta heartily agree on this one. The Cowboys pack does, like, it hits. It really hits. And I have to concede here, that was an awesome game. I saw a lot of that game, and I fucking loved it. Fucking loved every bit of it.
Fucking Dobbs, man.
Josh Dobbs is electric. Electric at the QB.
He's electric. Look, do we consider Josh Dobbs bad but electric, or is Josh Dobbs just electric?
Josh, I don't know. I'd say I don't know if he's bad or not. I feel like he's okay. I'm gonna say he's okay. He's mad. He's mad but electric.
Look, after last episode, when I talked about how much I hate John Gannon,
he decided to coach the best game of his coaching career so far.
I guess he heard me. I guess he listened to the forward lateral and decided to get his shit together. And that's the best I've ever seen John Gannon coach. If the Cardinals continue to play well, I will have to concede that I doubted him too much. But I maintain what I said before. Based on what I had seen of John Gannon up until that point, he looked abysmal. So if that stops happening, there will have been a change, and I won't really feel like I was wrong about what I said in the moment I said it. It's also possible that this was just a absolute anomaly, but when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, even someone like John Gannon, who has personal beef with the Eagles, the Cowboys shit is eternal. I will always love and enjoy and prey on the Cowboys' downfall. I am a player hating downfall praying, pack watching, son of a gun. Woo! I am the Ric
it
Flair
just
of
never gets
hating the
old.
Cowboys. It never
The
gets
Ric
old.
Flair fan of the Cowboys.
But that's enough. That's enough. Just basking in the glory of a Cowboys disaster class of a Dak Prescott choke job. What do we actually think this means for the Cowboys and for the Cardinals? But let's start on the Cowboys.
Well, I don't think it means much for the Cowboys. Unfortunately for you, I don't think it means very much, considering they were extremely injured. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs is out for the season. But Zach Martin was out for this game. Tyler Diaz, their center, he was also out for this game. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce his name, but whatever, you know what I'm talking about. They just I don't think it says much about them. I do think it says a good bit about their defense, considering they weren't missing very much. Says a lot about Stephon Gilmore being fucking burnt by Hollywood Brown, but you know, I'll give the Cowboys the benefit of the doubt here. I do think that it's just it might just be a meaningless loss. However, it might say a lot more about the Cardinals, considering they might have more of a chance in a lot of games than we think. And I know a lot of people are coming into this game like, holy shit, the Cardinals are going to get fucked. Not the case at all, really. Not the case whatsoever. And I do have to appreciate the actions that the John Gannon organization has taken to kind of prove that we're not these shitheads that aren't worth a damn.
Yeah, John Gannon needed this win so bad. Like I don't know if you remember do you feel the fire in your belly, or what was the exact quote? His
I don't know. He said something else that was like really funny. It was like
it was the fire in your gut. I think that was it. Do you feel the fire in your gut? I saw a lot of people tweet that out. They're like,
he said like fucking, the thing that he said was like, took the bus this morning.
No, yeah.
Like he had that whole speech about like,
it was back to back. Yeah, it was like, did how many of you took the bus this morning? And everyone's just like silent. I was like, do you feel the fire in your gut?
The fire in your gut.
I gotta get the exact quote right, but I saw a lot of people kind of turn that from something that was a way to make fun of John Gannon to sort of an ironic meme they were using positively, and that's the kind of thing John Gannon needs. You just don't want to be. You want anything to turn people's perception of you around, right?
Exactly.
So that's very good for the Cardinals locker room. And again, I'm not in the Cardinals locker room. I don't know exactly what people.
Yeah, but after this, I'm sure it's nothing. It's nothing of ill notion.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just had a great win, a great comeback that you weren't supposed to have. But back a little bit to the note of the Cowboys, of what I think it means for them. I think the biggest takeaway that we have from this game is that
Mike McDaniel sucks. Okay, Mike McDaniel sucks. I will not Mike McDaniel. Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy sucks.
Mike McCarthy sucks. That's a good takeaway. That is one I will concede on.
I actually wasn't even where I was going. I think the Mike McCarthy sucks train has been rolling long enough that I don't think this game was
for a little while.
Yeah,
it's been rolling since before he got hired by Dallas, arguably. I think
that's true. I don't think a lot of Dallas fans were thrilled by the Mike McCarthy hire, but I don't think this game is the thing that told me that. What this game told me was that the Trayvon Diggs injury is really serious for the Cowboys. That is a very substantial blow to the level that the Dallas Cowboys defense can play at. Now, all the stats, all the like QB rating allowed, all that stuff has pointed to Trayvon Diggs this season and also last season being really good. That season when he had, what was it, 11 interceptions, The stats
Oh
actually
my God,
weren't
yeah,
nearly as good. Like he was kind of getting fried and getting exposed a little bit, and the interception stats were kind of
yeah,
covering that up. But last year, one of the sort of more underappreciated storylines, I think, was just how much Trayvon Diggs actually improved as a lockdown defender. And he
yeah.
looked
He was,
maybe
he was a
even
straight
better.
starter at the Pro Bowl,
Yeah. Yeah. And
Pro
he
Bowl
was
first stringer.
really Pro Bowl first stringer, and not just because he had a lot of picks, not just because he was a guy who was
Oh.
jumping a lot of passing lanes. Like this, or I'm speaking of basketball terms, but but not not just that he was trying to ball hawk. Like he really became kind of a lockdown, shutdown corner. And this season, he looked
Yeah,
just as good. And the loss that they have without him is just far bigger than I
yeah,
expected. It's far bigger than I
for
expected.
sure.
And if he's out for the season, that's going to hurt them a lot playing against, your Philadelphia Eagles
True.
receivers, against your San Francisco 49ers receivers. There's a lot of teams that have two really good receivers. And again, we saw Stephon Gilmore getting fried. That is something Cowboys fans actually have to worry about. I still think they have a great and elite defense, but I didn't realize the extent to which not having Trayvon Diggs would hurt them until this game, when I think it was
Very
very
true.
obvious that he is a
Yeah.
player that you just don't want injured.
One more guy I want to talk about, who's I think his stock shot way up after this game, was a guy we hadn't heard about much at all over the offseason, because we really hadn't heard much from the Cardinals over the offseason. But
True.
sixth overall pick, Paris Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
Played an amazing game against the one of, if not the best defender in the NFL. So I have to give credit where credit's due. Offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. looks like already looking like a franchise tackle for Arizona.
And for the record, I love and loved the Paris Johnson draft pick. You're just gonna have to believe me that I'm not making that up, because I've always
Well, I
been
mean,
of
I
the
believe you, because I did too. I did too.
yeah, we both love it. I'm of the belief that if you're a bad team, if you're considering a QB change in the future, and well, we could talk about whether they actually should do that or not. I think you should invest in your O line before you ever
You have to
touch
have
a
a good
quarterback. I think that having a
one.
good
Jets.
Jets, Bears, like if you want these guys to grow, if you want to put a young quarterback in a situation where they're going to grow and mature and get to a level where they can start winning games for you before they're 27 years old, surround them with a good
Yeah,
O-line. We saw that the Eagles with Jalen Hurts is just a perfect example of that.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, you have they were able to slot a young guy in there and let him cook, let him work his stuff out, because you've got Lane Johnson, you've got Jason Kelsey, you've got Jordan Mailata, all these
you got Landon Dickerson.
Landon Dickerson, all these incredible players, draft Cam Jurgens, like they're using their high draft picks on O linemen, and they have people who've been around for a while. So I completely agree with you. Paris looked awesome, looked fantastic.
Yeah, he
It's
looked
exactly
great.
what you want to see. And Micah Parsons is a handful to block. He is
God
just
damn it.
a
Yeah.
menace.
One of arguably the most unblockable player in the NFL right now.
You can't. I mean, I've never played. I've never played O line. I've never even played high school football. So I can't break down the way. Break down defensive technique and finesse moves and all that the way someone who has could. But what is quite evident, even to the untrained eye, is that Micah Parsons is just the perfect combination of speed, finesse, power. There is so few things you can do against him one-on-one to keep him at bay. And we saw as
Yeah,
good of an effort as you can get from anyone out of
yeah.
Paris Johnson
Paris
Jr.
Johnson
So
Jr. In just pulling up some next gen stats here. In his one-on-one matchups against Micah Parsons, Paris Johnson Jr. only let up 2 pressures. So that was
good Lord.
very impressive.
Yeah, and that's
got his
that's
got his footwork right.
yeah, got his footwork right. Josh Dobbs, I hope the best for you. I don't think he's the
Yeah,
Cardinals
hope you
long
can get your
term.
jersey, bro.
Yeah, so yeah. Oh, that's right. If you haven't seen that situation, yeah, you can feel you describe it. You sounds like you know the story better than I do.
Yeah, apparently Josh Dobbs wanted to have his jersey on the official Cardinals store, and it wasn't there. He wanted to buy it, and there was none available.
That's right. That's right. I remember he couldn't buy his jersey. But that yeah, you refreshed me. Hopefully they set him up with a jersey so he's not playing in a red t-shirt next game. But
Yeah.
but who do the Cardinals play next week?
The Cardinals play. I don't know. I think it's a divisional matchup. I want to say they play the 49ers.
Let's look it up right now. They are playing, you are correct, the 49ers, which I think brings us around pretty nicely to a note we usually end on. Talking about the
Yeah.
games we're most excited for, week 4 action. Last week,
Oh yeah.
I was incorrect. The Rams and Bengals was a putrid shit game. So
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you.
It's not your fault, Riley. You didn't do it to him.
I know.
But
It was our team. We did it. We did it to ourselves.
But I'm gonna ask you first. What game are you most excited for?
Me, honestly, I have very little knowledge about the next slate of games. I can tell you for free that a game I am not excited for was is Packers Lions, because that game just blew. The game just
Yeah.
blew total balls.
I had a little bit more
But
hope for Packers Lions than I did for some of the other matchups we've seen slotted, because yeah, it's a divisional rivalry. That stuff is fun sometimes. These teams know each
it
other
can
better
be.
than anyone. You can get those upsets. But I'll give you a game that I am definitively not excited for. One that at the beginning of the season we would have thought would have been a fantastic primetime game, but right now the Chiefs Jets looks like a joke of a Sunday night game.
No, yeah. Oh yeah,
I
no thanks.
yeah
They're
no
really doing that over Bills Dolphins. I'm sick. That's the one I'm excited for. I'm excited for Bills and Dolphins. Oh my
I think
God,
we
I'm excited for
completely
Bills and
agree.
Dolphins.
I think we completely agree. I mean, there's other games we can point at that look good. Admittedly, not a ton of
As
them.
Yeah, not really. This is a bad slate coming up, I think.
Yeah. But Bills Dolphins is just going to be awesome. I mean, there's so many questions that we'll get maybe not answers for, but pointed in the right direction of. This is one of those games that even if it's a bad game, even if it's a blowout, it's going to mean a lot. So regardless
Yeah.
of the outcome, there will be something that this game tells us, which
I
has
mean, yeah,
huge significance.
the best way to describe the game is unstoppable force versus immovable object. That Bills defense, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
They definitely Sam Howell definitely owed them money, I'd say, but can they do the same to Tua? Can they do the same to the Dolphins? There's a possibility.
I'm going to be honest with you,
Because
O'Reilly. I'm going to be so honest with you. I would be
what?
completely lying. I would be completely lying to you. And I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to do that to the listeners. I would be completely lying if I said that the Bills versus the Dolphins is the game I'm most excited for this week. And it's not the Eagles either. The game I'm most excited for this week is the Denver Broncos versus the Chicago Bears. I
The
cannot
tank
wait.
ball. The tank ball.
I cannot wait for this Three Stooges bit of a football game. Someone will have to win. And if it ties, it will be just a beautiful disaster. It'll be like I'll be like Joker watching the city on fire. It will be wonderful. I hope it's as bad of a game as we can possibly ask for. I want to
Oh
see
yeah.
5 interceptions from both
I hope
Russell
it's-
Wilson and Justin
I hope
Fields.
it's so bad.
I want to see. Honestly, the best scenario for this, the thing that would make me the happiest, is if Nathan Peterman stepped up and had a great game. Well, actually, that wouldn't be the thing that'd be really cool. I think everyone would like to see Nathan Peterman do well. But to be honest, if Justin Fields stepped up and corrected some of what we've seen out of him from this year and balled out, that would be really encouraging. That would be really nice. It would definitely be good to see something nice.
I'm
happen.
sure Bears fans would have the craziest victory lap in that scenario.
Yeah, they would be quite happy. But the reason I'm excited for that game is not because I think that will happen. It's because I think we're going to see something dog shit. And yeah, that just sounds like an all-around good time.
I like the thought of it because it's like either the 2023 Bears or the 2023 Broncos are going to have at least one win on their resume. That's just like fucked up fundamentally.
Guarantee. We can't guarantee that either of them will win.
We cannot. That we cannot do. However,
there is a chance.
One last honorable mention game I'm going to put out there because I feel like this might be a good game is just a nice, humble divisional rivalry, NFC. I'm going to go with Saints and Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I like the thought. Jameis revenge game. Baker facing a team like the Saints.
It is going to be oh hell! I wasn't thinking about this. Week 1, I said I was so excited for the Buccaneers. I guess I forgot about that a little bit because I was rooting against them last week with the Eagles. But yeah, Baker versus Jameis. Yeah, of course. Of course, I want to see that.
Who isn't excited by that kind of shit? Like a total fireworks, absolute like completely just bomb throws all the way. Who cares if they hit anybody?
Yeah. Famous Jameis versus the Bake Show. That should also be quite entertaining football. It's a damn shame all these games are at 1:00. But anyway, throw on Red Zone if you have it, or if you don't have it, find a way. But 1:00 on Sunday, I think will be fun, at least somewhere around the league. I hope it's as fun of a Sunday for you as it should be for us. Barring our car breaks down or something horrible happens. But
yeah,
I am quite looking forward to it. Any other things you want to say, Riley?
Not entirely. Just saying, hope you guys enjoy this next good week of football, or bad week of football, whichever one it is.
Hopefully, it's a good week of football. Or if it's a bad week of football, hopefully it's a funny bad week of football. But this has been the Forward Lateral, and we will see you next week.